Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start the English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. We now present Mixed Quarters, Song of General Kim Il-sung. son of General Kim Jong-il.
You are listening to VOK, Voice of Korea, News Now.
The Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea called its second enlarged meeting of the 8th Party Central Committee at the headquarters building of the Party Central Committee on June the 29th in order to seriously deal with the delinquency of duty of some senior officials which occurred in carrying out the major policy tasks of the party and the state and make a new turning point in bringing about a revolutionary change in the personnel affairs throughout the whole party. The respected Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, guided the meeting. Present at the meeting were presidium members and alternate members of the Political Bureau and officials of the Party Central Committee, leading party and administrative officials of the ministries and national agencies, chief secretaries of the provincial party committees, chairpersons of the provincial people's committees, party chief secretaries of cities, counties, and complexes, and officials concerned of the armed forces organs and in the state emergency anti-epidemic sector. Before discussing agenda items, Kim Jong-un mentioned the purpose of calling the enlarged meeting of the Political Bureau right after the plenary meeting of the Party Central Committee. He pointed out that senior officials in charge of the important state affairs have neglected to implement the major party decisions on taking organizational, material, scientific, and technological measures as demanded by the protracted state emergency anti-epidemic campaign to cope with the worldwide health crisis, and that caused the crucial incident of creating a great crisis in the security of the state and people, and it has brought about a series of effects. Making a sharp analysis that the important factor of applying the brake to carrying out the crucial tasks discussed and decided on at the party congress and the party plenary meetings and obstructing it is the incompetence and irresponsibility of the cadres, He touched on waging a more intensive struggle against the ideological defects and all sorts of negative factors occurring among the cadres throughout the whole party. He said the real purpose of this meeting is to lay bare the main obstacle and impediment of hindering the advance of our party and revolution, give a warning to the present realities of the ranks of cadres, and open a prelude to the intensive and continuous struggle of the whole party, and present the agenda items to be discussed at the meeting. The Political Bureau of the Party Central Committee consented to the agenda items presented with a unanimous approval. The enlarged meeting of the Political Bureau discussed as a major agenda item the issue on drawing a serious lesson from the acts alien to the party revealed by senior party and state officials in implementing the party decisions. It heard a report on shortcomings committed by some cadres. The report informed in detail of the delinquency of duty of some senior officials who have neglected to implement the party decisions and the most important tasks of the state, turning away from the great trust and expectation of the entire party members and of the people, and the noble responsibility and mission for the party and the revolution. It also made a scathing analysis of the serious mistakes of those officials who gave hindrance to realizing the strategic plan of the party and had a negative effect on the stabilization of the people's living and the overall economic construction swayed by self-protectionism and passivity without making strenuous efforts with utmost prudence to implement the decisions and instructions of the Party Central Committee, the organized will and the supreme order of the whole party. At the meeting, sharp criticism was given to those cadres who revealed their ignorance, incompetency, and irresponsibility in carrying out the major tasks discussed and decided on at the plenary meetings of the Party Central Committee. Those members of the Party Central Leadership Organ who took the floor analyzed and sharply criticized politically on the party principle the ideological source of mistakes of the senior officials which inflicted detrimental effects on realizing the plan and leadership of the Party Central Committee, though they have to implement unconditionally, thoroughly and devotedly the decisions of the two party plenary meetings, which are of key importance in resolutely defending the authority of the historic party congress and opening up the firm prospect of the 5-year plan. The meeting also informed of the materials on some central and local officials who are vague in their attitude toward and viewpoint on the party decisions and fail to do their work in a revolutionary way, giving way to defeatism, and approve the decision on making a thoroughgoing party and legal examination and investigation of them and taking relevant measures. Kim Jong-un made a crucial concluding speech. He said the importance of the responsibility and role of the members of the Party Central Leadership Organ and other cadres and officials of units at all levels becomes clearer after the 8th Party Congress. He mentioned the need to direct primary efforts to building up the ranks of cadres well as the revolution advances and the circumstances are severe, and the important direction of improving the cadre policy of the party. He expressed the view of the Party Central Committee on the serious acts alien to the party, which were revealed among the leading officials of the party and the state, seriously pointing out that the inveterate irresponsibility and incompetence of the cadres are the main break, laying an artificial difficulty in implementing the party policy and giving a huge hindrance to the development of the revolutionary work. He emphasized that the cadres should raise exact demands on themselves and do their duty with the extraordinary sense of responsibility and practicability. He seriously criticized the attitude of working like a flash in the pan, empiricism, and old mindset, which are universal among the cadres. He said that if the cadres do not make a persistent effort to improve their political and practical qualifications and possess the revolutionary style of work and choice, and the party organizations slacken the organizational control and education of the cadres, the traction would be lost in the implementation of the party decisions, and the major policy tasks of the party cannot be carried out correctly. noting that the benevolent politics and the engagement policy maintained by the party from the beginning of its foundation are not for the sake of the cadres, but for the sake of the ordinary working people. He made clear that the party has no right to protect the cadres who are not truly concerned about the country and people and take care of their positions while pretending to work. He clarified his will to wage an offensive, persistent, and powerful struggle to overcome the non-revolutionary working attitude, viewpoint, and practices of the cadres. Kim Jong-un mentioned the need to study and re-examine the personnel affairs policy of the party once again on the basis of the spirit of the current enlarged meeting of the political bureau and some important issues. Now is the time to bring about a revolutionary change in the personnel affairs before solving the pending economic issues, he said, and added that the revolution in personnel affairs our party has consistently attached importance to and promoted in the whole course of its development is a crucial task of the whole party to be intensified more intensively and primarily in keeping with the prevailing situation of the Korean Revolution. He stressed that the personnel affairs system and method should be improved in accordance with the demand of the developing reality, and the cadres themselves should steadily strengthen their revolutionary self-improvement and training. What is important in particular is that the cadres should raise their political consciousness purposefully, he said, and noted that they must clearly know the lines and policies of the party, correctly see through the reality and pending issues with the party and state insight, and possess the stand and working manner of finding their share and making efforts for its realization. Noting that education and training through party life should be strengthened in order to raise the political consciousness of the cadres, he said the cadres must sincerely participate in the organizational and ideological life of the party to train themselves in a revolutionary way, not by the control and demand of others, but for the party and revolution, for strengthening the militancy of their party organizations and for their political integrity. He said the party decisions are an organized will and action program which indicated the orientation of the demands of the Korean Revolution, and the cadres are entirely responsible for their implementation. He mentioned that the cadres should thoroughly establish the revolutionary spirit of implementing the party decisions unconditionally and strictly in whatever circumstances. Saying our party pays special attention to the working manner and moral traits in bringing about a revolutionary change in the personnel affairs, he pointed out that all cadres must always remember their working manner and moral traits represent the authority and faith of the party. He importantly stressed that the party organizations at all levels should build up the ranks of cadres with those perfectly ready in loyalty, revolutionary spirit, fidelity to the people, and ability. The meeting also dealt with the organizational issue. Presidium members and alternate members of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee were recalled and by-elected, Secretary of the Party Central Committee recalled and elected, and cadres of the state organs transferred and appointed.
The respected Kim Jong-un received a floral basket from Jin Xian, Director of the Board of Directors of the Kim Il-sung-Kim Jong-un Foundation on June the 29th, on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of his election as President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The Suncheon Thermal Power Station is fulfilling its daily production plans. It organizes the economic work scrupulously on the basis of scientific business and management strategy. It induces the unloading workshop and other operation and management units to detail the processes and takes immediate measures to solve the issues. The power station has developed the boiler combustion automatic control system and introduced the technology capable of recycling the waste heat. A number of workshops, including the turbine and electricity workshops, are ensuring normal operation of all the equipment by carrying out proper management of equipment and technical management and thoroughly establishing the itinerant inspection system. Nampo City is actively promoting the independent and many-sided local development by dint of science and technology. The Nampo City Commission of Science and Technology has mapped out detailed research development plans for accelerating the economic development and the improvement of the people's living by relying on local materials and resources, and is introducing the achievements into reality. The city has built the sodium carbonate production process by its scientists and technicians, and is intensifying research while making trial production. The Industrial Technology Institute of the City Commission of Science and Technology is registering successes in its research for producing phosphate fertilizer by itself in line with the regional characteristics. Unsan County of North Pyongan Province is consistently pushing ahead with the work for prevention of disasters and forestation. The county is substantially improving the rivers and their branches according to annual plans, while organizing the work to cope with the disastrous climate. It is also organizing a proper work to prevent flood and landslides, including the anti-landsliding project. In order to turn all the mountains in the county into useful golden and treasure mountains thick with green woods, the county is giving priority to the sapling production and raising the rooting rate through good cultivation of the planted trees. Rural households across the DPRK are now in active work to plant fruit trees and trees of good species near their dwelling areas. As a result, millions of trees have taken roots near the rural dwelling houses this year. Tens of thousands of fruit trees and trees of good species were newly planted in Pyongyang. North Pyongan Province has planted hundreds of thousands of trees through careful organization after setting clear stage-by-stage goals. Therefore, the number of families with 10 to 15 fruit trees and trees of good species has increased. Other provinces are directing efforts to selecting and planting fruit trees and trees of good species suited to the climatic and soil conditions and topographical features of each area, and manuring and tending them in a scientific and technological way. The experiences of those families which get benefit from constant endeavor are generalized. And that's the end of the news, read by Kim Hyun-ok and Cha Yun-kyung. This is Voice of Korea. Now you will listen to the song, We Will Follow You with One Mind. True to the lofty intention of Kim Il-sung, with the will of Kim Jong-il as the banner, Kim Jong-un flies the red flag high. He honors their cause. Oh, the great Kim Jong-un, held in high esteem by the people, we will follow you with one mind. We will follow you with one mind. Here is instrumental music, The Blue Sky Over My Country. female solo and male chorus. Ode to the Mother Party.
everybody has his or her doctor. All people in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea have their health protected all their lives under the concern of doctors in charge. If they are ill, they can call in their doctors, and the doctors in charge are bound to examine the health of inhabitants in the area under their charge. This is certainly guaranteed by law, stipulated as follows in Article 28 of Chapter 3 of the Public Health Law of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The state consolidates and develops the section doctor system, an advanced medical service system whereby doctors take charge of definite districts and always visit their districts and take care of the health of the inhabitants and treat them on prophylactic lines. The section doctor system is a health care system suited to the intrinsic demand of the socialist medicine with prevention as the key. There are medical institutions in all regions of the country, ranging from the capital city to all provinces, cities, counties, and regions. This is a condition for enforcing the section doctor system. The section doctor system started in the late 1940s and was enforced on a full scale in the 1960s. It was developed in the way of combining itself with the factory doctor system according to the actual conditions of the region concerned, with main emphasis on the household doctor system. Thanks to the enforcement of the section doctor system, all have their health care charts from their birth which record their health conditions and diseases and make it possible to prevent and treat their diseases in a more scientific way under the concern of their doctors. Every family receives medical services from a doctor in charge of a household, and every factory from a doctor in charge of it. Along with the increase of doctors, the number of households in their charge is gradually reduced to improve the standard of medical service. It is an important public health policy of the Workers' Party of Korea to strengthen the section doctor system, to take preventive measures against various diseases and promote the health of the inhabitants and other working people.
You've been listening to the count under the title, Everybody Has His or Her Doctor. This is Voice of Korea.
We now present light music for violin. Prosper the year of the Workers' Party.
we present the song My Red Spirit Keeps Me Strong from the revolutionary opera The Sea of Blood, adapted from the immortal masterpiece of the same title. Now you appreciate light music. We pledge to dedicate our life.
Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 13,760 kHz. And 15,245 kHz. For North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC, on 9,435 kHz, and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC, and between 6 and 7 hours UTC, on 7,220 kHz, 9,445 kHz, and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.